Okay, thank you. Welcome to Bhakti Sangha Japa Conference. So today's class will be given by Her Grace Kirtida Sundari Mataji on the topic of Sri Chaitanya Charithamrtha, chapter 24, Madhya Lila, chapter 24, and summary study, part number 8. I think it's 8. But thank you very much, Mataji. Dandavat Pranam, all those to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you very much for giving your valuable time and association to this morning and enlightening us on this topic. Thank you very much, Mataji. Please take over the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Kamadiki Mataji, for your very, very warm welcoming. And
thank you
everyone for chanting so beautifully. So we'll start now.
Yes, please.
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. So we'll be reading from Madhya Lila, Chaitanya Charithamrtha Madhya Lila, chapter 24, entitled Explanations of the Atma Rama verse. And we'll be continuing with our summary of this chapter. And today, hopefully, we'll complete all the 61 meanings of this Atma Rama verse that was told by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Srila Sanatana Goswami. Atmaramacha munyo nirgrantha api urkrame kuruvanti ahitakim bhakti nitham bhuta guno hari. Those who are self-satisfied and unattracted by external material desires are also...
Mataji, can you be a little louder?
Yes, Mataji. Those who are self-satisfied and unattracted by external material desires are also attracted to the loving service of Sri Krishna, whose qualities are transcendental and whose activities are wonderful. Hari, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is called Krishna because he has such transcendentally attractive features. Om Ajnanatirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Thapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swavadantikam Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shri Mate Bhakti Chari Swami Niti Namine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shri Mate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshakarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivasa Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna devotees. Hopefully today will be the concluding session on this explanation of the Atma Rama verse. We will be completing all the 61 meanings that Mahaprabhu told to Srila Sanatana Goswami. So before that, I really request each and every one of you to please, share your heartfelt prayers and wishes and blessings to me so that I may pass on the relevant message, the exact message that Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami and our dear Srila Prabhupada wants to convey through this chapter. And of course in the glorification of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrtha and in purification of my own self. So I really bow down to each and every one of you. Please accept my humble obeisances. Vanchakalpatarubhascha kripa sindhu bhayevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namo. Hare Krishna. So, we have already discussed the 26 meanings of Sri Atma Rama verse. And now, moving forward, Mahaprabhu, from text 284, 3 or 4 or 5 verses were yesterday covered in our Monday class. But still, since it's a summary part, so we'll summarize what was covered and then we'll move forward. So from 284, Mahaprabhu is giving another meaning, of this Atma Rama verse. And there, the meaning of Atma, he's saying, Atma means different expansions of the Supreme Lord. So here Atma, he is referring to different expansions of the Supreme Lord, including Lord Krishna himself. Though Krishna is avatari, he is not an avatar. But, Mahaprabhu is referring here the word Atma as different expansions of the Supreme Lord. But here he is also including Krishna also himself, right? So when Atma is Krishna or the different expansions, then Atma Rama is one who is always engaged, in the Lord's name. So here the exact meaning of Atma Rama is. But then Mahaprabhu describes that yes, Atma Rama is one who is always engaged in Lord's service. But then he says that how do we engage in that Lord's service? Then he goes on explaining that yes, to engage in the Lord's service, there are 2 ways. And we have extensively, I think so, really gone deep into the subject matter, that what are the 2 ways in which living entity engages oneself in the devotional service, in the Lord's service. And that is Vaidhi Bhakti and Raganuga Bhakti. Vaidhi Bhakti is one who is engaged in regulative devotional service. And Raganuga Bhakti is quite spontaneous. As Rupa Goswami says, that what is Vaidhi Bhakti? When there is no attachment. There is no attachment as such for the loving service of the Lord. But still, we are enthused or we get ourselves engaged in the service of the Lord. But why it is so? Simply because, out of obedience, either to the order of the spiritual master, either we are quite obedient that, okay, my spiritual master ordered to chant 16 rounds, to follow 4 regulative principles, to do Mangala Arati and to do, offer Bhoga, all these, is being laid down by my spiritual master. So I'm just trying to follow the orders of my spiritual master. Or we are in pursuance of some Vedic scriptures that, okay, this is all being laid down in the scriptures and this is how you have to follow. So I'm just following with the scriptures, check on, tick mark, this done, this done, this done. And finally I'm doing my Vaidhi Bhakti. But there is no as such spontaneous love. It's not that there is no love at all, because you cannot serve if there is no love, right? So there is no as such spontaneous love. Either we are doing as an obedience, being an obedient disciple of our spiritual master, or we are just following the pursuance of the Vedic literatures, the Vedic scriptures that it's been laid down. So let me offer. So it's a kind of an obligatory service. That is what Vaidhi Bhakti is. And we all know that Vaidhi Bhakti also has 2 aspects. And what is that? Vidhi. Vidhi comes when we follow some rules and regulations. And what are the rules and regulations that we are following in our movement? Is chanting 16 rounds every day without fail. And then comes Nishedh. That yes, there is some prohibitions also. Some do's and some don'ts. And some prohibitions and some regulations are there. Nishedh is that, okay, this thing is to be avoided, is to be prohibited. And what are those? So following the 4 regulative principles, that we don't do illicit sex, we don't eat meat or fish or eggs, or we don't even intoxicate, and we don't gamble. So these are. So following all these do's and don'ts is what categorized, in Vaidhi Bhakti. But Mahaprabhu also gives another meaning, that is Raganuga Bhakti, that there is another way through which we can involve ourselves in the devotional service of the Lord. And what is that Raganuga Bhakti? when there is a spontaneous love, when there is a spontaneous love to the Supreme Lord. But how this Raganuga Bhakti can be, performed? Because at one spot, it just be like that, in just a flick of second, we just cannot have that spontaneous love towards the Supreme Lord. But then how it is done? It is done when we practice and follow the footsteps of advanced devotees who are already either the eternal servants of the Lord or eternal devotees of the Lord, or they have perfected their stage of bhakti. Then we follow. And who are they called? They are known as Ragatmika Bhakta. So just by following that Ragatmika Bhakta, when we perform some activity, that becomes our Raganuga Bhakti. And Rupa Goswami also explains that who is actually a Ragatmika Bhakta. When there is a spontaneous attraction for something while completely absorbed in the thoughts of that personality, that person is known as Ragatmika Bhakta. So when we follow that Ragatmika Bhakta and try to achieve, and try to follow that Ragatmika Bhakta, follow in the footsteps of that personality, and then perform our service to the Supreme Lord, then it becomes a spontaneous loving service. And that is what is known as Raganuga Bhakti. But mind it, we have to understand that these two processes are still on the platform of sadhana bhakti. It's just our sadhana. So that means following the footsteps of a Ragatmika Bhakta is also our sadhana. Right? It's a process. It's a practice that we have to do it. So they both still are in the category of sadhana bhakti as described by Srila Rupa Goswami. Because then, after practicing, then we come on to the platform of bhava bhakti or prema bhakti. But moving on to what Mahaprabhu wants to explain is that he is explaining that yes, there are two ways. One is Vidhi Bhakti and one is Raganuga Bhakti. But he is saying that there are different groups to it. There are different groups to it. That by following Vidhi Bhakti or by following Raganuga Bhakti, then there are different groups to it. There is a category to it. And what are that? First, he is saying, Paharishad, one can become a personal associate of the Lord. Then second is Sadhana Siddha, those who have perfected their life by process of devotional service. Then he is saying Jatarati Sadhaka, means one who is mature in practicing devotional service, irrespective whether it is through Vidhi Bhakti or it is Raganuga Bhakti. Okay. Now the fourth is Ajatarati Sadhaka, that is immature in performing devotional service. So to understand actually all this, Preeti Vilasni Mataji, would you like to, you are sharing that screen on the, or shall I forward it onto the group? Okay. I have also forwarded to the group. I think so she is sharing also. But I have also forwarded to the group, so you can refer to the
yes. Sorry. Sorry for that. Sorry for that delay. Sorry, Mataji. Yeah, I'm sending it now.
No worries. I have already sent it to the group. So that will help if everybody can open it and can understand, because that will really help to understand how these 32 different meanings are coming out from this, the process of engaging oneself in the Lord service. So, Vidhi Bhakti and Raga Bhakti, these are the two ways. And now he is saying that there are four groups. One is saying the Parshad, that you can become an associate, personal associate of the Lord. Then it says Sadhana Bhakti, that is those who have perfected their life by devotional service. Then Jatarati Sadhaka means those who are mature in practicing devotional service. And then the fourth is Ajatarati Sadhaka, that means those who are immature, imperfect in their practicing devotional service. So these are the four. But now he's saying that each of these four are also classified in various varieties that we'll see. So either one is performing Vidhi Bhakti or Raganuga Bhakti. If somebody, let's take an example of a Parshad. If somebody is a personal associate of the Lord, then he can be into all these four varieties. And what are those four varieties? Is either one can become a das, that is a servant, a sakha, a friend, a guru, means superior, means on to the level of vatsalya bhava, and then kanta, that is beloved damsels. We all know that these are the four relationships that we can have with the Supreme Lord. Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya and Madhurya. But Mahaprabhu, instead of stating these names as Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya and Madhurya, he is telling that they are divided into four categories, which is Dasa, Sakha, Guru and Kanta. Kanta means beloved damsels. So now, let's understand that through Vidhi Bhakti, if we keep on performing the Vidhi Bhakti, we'll land up in Vaikuntha. We all know that. And if we follow Raganuga Bhakti, we'll land up in, Golok Vrindavan. But what is our goal? Our goal is that we want to go to Golok Vrindavan. We all aspire to go to Golok Vrindavan. So how we will reach Golok Vrindavan if we keep on following Vidhi Bhakti? Then that means we should leave Vidhi Bhakti and we should follow Raganuga Bhakti by following a Ragatmika Bhakta. But again, Rupa Goswami says that if we just don't follow the do's and don'ts and we just try to follow the footsteps of a Ragatmika Bhakta and try to follow a Raganuga Bhakti, then that will create a disturbance in the society. Because the demand of the society is such that we should follow some rules and some regulations. We should follow some do's and don'ts so that there is no disturbance in the society. So if we have to follow Vidhi Bhakti, but through Vidhi Bhakti, we turn up to Vaikuntha. So again, Srila Rupa Goswami in Nectar of Devotion says that who is the biggest Ragatmika Bhakta is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So if we follow Chaitanya Mahaprabhu through Vidhi Bhakti by following all the do's and don'ts, he will take us to Golok Vrindavan. Because we are following, at the same time, following these rules and regulations, we are also following the biggest Ragatmika Bhakta, who is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because we know that Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna, nahi anya. He is non-different from Radha and Krishna. So if we are following Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by following all those rules and regulations, he will take us to Golok Vrindavan. Anyway, this was just a side note. But now coming on to the point of having Dasya, Sakya, Guru and Kanta, what does Mahaprabhu mean with it? So let's take an example. First is the group we take is Parshad. Parshad means personal associate. Now personal associate can have these four rasas. Either the personal associate can become a dasa, can become a sakha, can become a guru, can become a superior, or can become a kanta, can become a beloved damsel. It's quite obvious, right? Personal associate is a vague term. But in that personal associate, we can categorize. Like for example, in Golok Vrindavan, we have Mother Yashoda. Now Mother Yashoda is on to the level of superior. She can order Krishna to do this, to do that, right? And even Nand Maharaj. So aren't they the personal associate? Yes, they are also the personal associate of the Lord, but they are in that mellow. And similarly, we see all the gopis. They are also the personal associates of the Lord, but they are in a different mellow. And similarly, cowherd boys. Cowherd boys are also the personal associate. of the Lord, but they are again in different mellows. Similarly, we have servants like Rataka and Pratraka. They are also the personal associate of the Lord. They are getting that personal association, but they have different mood to it. Right? So now we understand, well, these examples that I gave were just of Vrindavan, right, of the Golok Vrindavan. Then how do we understand that if we are following that Vaidhi Bhakti, how can we perfect our life if we are suppose taking the example of Das, that is servant, how we can perfect to our life? And to this, Rupa Goswami in Nectar of Devotion very beautifully explains that who is actually a Das, what is the meaning of that servitorship. So he is saying that servitorship can be explained in two ways. First is karmarpanam, means if we are offering our activity to the Lord, or we are offering to the fruits of our activities, of our prescribed duties. If we are offering that to the Supreme Lord, that also means that we are in the mood of dasya. Dasya not only means becoming that personal associate, but of being, Ratartaka or Patraka or all those, personal servants that Nand Maharaj or Krishna had in Vrindavan. But through Vaidhi Bhakti, following that Vaidhi Bhakti, we can also become a personal associate and in the mood of Das. How? By offering the fruits of our prescribed duties or offering our direct service by following the 9 processes of devotional service. Through that we can become the real servants of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Right? This is the meaning that Rupa Goswami gives in Nectar of Devotion. Now we'll take another, like Sakha. How can one become a Sakha? Sakha doesn't mean that just to become Sridam, Sudam. This is again in the category of Raganuga Bhakti in Golok Vrindavan. But how we can understand through Vaidhi Bhakti, landing into becoming a Sakha of the Supreme Lord. So this also Rupa Goswami explains that what is devotional service and friendship. We just cannot directly jump of imagining ourselves, oh I'm Sridam, oh I'm Sudam, I'm Madhumangal. No, that is prasabhas, because that will lead us nowhere. Yes, we can follow their footsteps, but what footsteps we have to follow and what does it mean of becoming a friendship in devotional service? So to this also Rupa Goswami explains that friendship in devotional service means having that Shraddha, that faith that Krishna will protect me. What Sridam, Sudam, Madhumangal, what mellow they have? They have just a mellow of friendship. But whenever some demon comes like Aghasura, Bakasura, they always call on for Krishna. That, oh Krishna, please come and protect us. So that means they have that faith. They have that Shraddha. So taking that point, even we following that devotional service in Vaidhi Bhakti, following that rules and regulations, if we have that Vishwas, that Shraddha, that yes, Krishna will protect me. That is what thinking that Krishna, doing devotional service in the mood of friendship. That is what Rupa Goswami explains. Now the point comes of Guru, of being a superior. So in Vrindavan, we have all these Nand Maharaj, Yashoda Maharani, and all the elderly gopis, all the elderly cowherd boys, man, with those who are like a fatherly figure. So yes, we can follow that Raganuga Bhakti by following any one of them. For example, if we want to follow Mother Yashoda, it's not that we will become Mother Yashoda. Never, because that position is already full. There's no vacancy for that. But yes, we can follow the footsteps of Mother Yashoda and aspire to be a mother-like figure for Lord Shri Krishna, right? In that way, we can assist Mother Yashoda the way she is serving the Supreme Lord. So we can become her assistant or her assistant, dasa, dasa, anudasa, right? So in that mode. But how? By following that Vaidhi Bhakti also, by practicing that devotional service, we can develop that mood of, of a guru, of a superior for Sri Krishna. And to that also Rupa Goswami explains that ordinarily we see that the devotee, how he sees the Lord as his well-wisher. Right? We see ourselves that yes, Krishna is our well-wisher. We see the Lord in that way. How we can attain that position of being a superior, that Rupa Goswami says that when we preach Krishna consciousness to others, then what happened? The devotees, they become the well-wisher of the Lord. Now getting this point? See, there is a subtle difference. When we normally see that Krishna is our well-wisher, but while preaching Krishna consciousness, when taking up the mood of preaching Krishna consciousness, we become the well-wisher of the Lord. We just don't want anyone to blaspheme Lord. We become what do you say? A well-wisher means we take up the position where we don't want that anyone should blaspheme the name of the Lord. And we take up this position of a Kshatriya, that, that we take up that mood that yes, we can fight to any extent, but nobody should blaspheme my Supreme Lord or the divine couple. Nobody should say anything wrong about the divine couple. And how we can fight? Through Shastras only. We take Pramans from different Shastras and we can just throw our bullets one by one by quoting these different Shastras and explain them that whatever you are saying is wrong. The relationship of Radha and Krishna is not a relationship of a mere mortal soul. They are supreme. Right? So we can fight for that. And in that mood of preaching, what we are acquiring, that preaching is also a devotional service, right? And while doing that, we acquire the mood of a superior where we become the well-wisher of the Lord. Right? Similarly, Kanta. Taking the example of a Kanta, like beloved damsels, the gopis of Vrindavan, the best devotee is Srimati Radharani. And of course, all the other gopis of Vrindavan. So they are the beloved damsels. But also, because now, Rupa Goswami also explains this very beautifully, and he goes on explaining that actually this damsels or this Kanta, they are also categorized into two classifications. That is the Parakya Ras, that is unwedded, and next is the Swakya Ras, that is wedded. Right? So in Parakya Ras, one perfects this sentiment, by associating with the gopis and enjoy the different loving affairs with Krishna. So this is how we can follow the Ragatmika Bhakta, that is different gopis and Srimati Radharani. We follow their footsteps and try to become their servants. Again, Dasa, Dasa, Anudasa. But how? Through Swakya also, that Rupa Goswami says, that it's just the Lakshmis in Vrindavan. Because I told you, right, through Vaidhi Bhakti, if we keep on following Vaidhi Bhakti, we end up into Vaikuntha, right? So in Vaikuntha, how Krishna is being served by the damsels is various Lakshmis. Sahasra Lakshmis they are serving Lord Shri Krishna, the Supreme Lord Narayana, Vishnu. So becoming their servant is also like achieving that level of becoming Kanta, of becoming beloved damsel. So this is what, Mahaprabhu tries to explain, that yes, there are two ways, through Vaidhi Bhakti, through Ragatmika Bhakti. So here, what chart that I have shared, you can refer to. So I have just took one, because see, on the red I have written types of Atma Ramas, and then Vidhi Bhakti and Raganuga Bhakti. Then on top I have written Parishad, Sadhana Siddha, Jatarati Sadhaka and Ajatarati Sadhaka. But in all these we can have these different relationships of Dasa, Sakha, Guru and Khanta. So I have explained only one. I have taken up the example of a parshad, of a personal associate, that how in Vidhi Bhakti we can become a Dasa, Sakha, Guru and Khanta, and how in Raganuga Bhakti we can become Dasa, Sakha, Guru and Khanta. Similarly, through devotional service, just by perfect our life by following a devotional service, also this is Dasa, Sakha, Guru, Kanta can be achieved. And similarly, Jatarati Sadhaka means when we are matured in our practicing devotional service, we can follow this Dasa, Sakha, Guru and Kanta. And if we are immature in practicing devotional service, and this can happen both in Vidhi Bhakti also, in Raganuga Bhakti also. In following Vidhi Bhakti also we can become mature and immature. Following Raganuga Bhakti also we can become mature and immature. So that is what the 16 meanings and in Vidhi Bhakti and 16 meanings of Raganuga Bhakti that Mahaprabhu collected, collaborated them and explained that these are the different 32 Atma Ramas who are engaged in the practice of devotional service. That is what Mahaprabhu is explaining. So these are the 32, 16 in Vidhi Bhakti, 16 in Raganuga Bhakti. Collectively, they are 32 types of Atma Ramas that Mahaprabhu is explaining. That 32 types of Atma Ramas, those who are engaged in the devotional service of the Lord. Now coming on to the next, what Mahaprabhu wants to explain. So these 32, actually if we can go on reading the, let me see, yeah. In 284, verse number 284 of Chaitanya Charitamrtha, Madhya, Lila, chapter 24, the purport gives the 16 different meanings that, I have already explained. Purport Mahaprabhu, Srila Prabhupada describes very beautifully. And then in 16, he's saying this is of Vidhi Bhakti, and 16 same as Raganuga Bhakti, and they combined together makes 32 explanations of the Atma Rama. So now moving forward, we have completed 26 and now we have completed 32. That makes us 58 meanings. And what total Mahaprabhu explained to Srila Sanatana Goswami is 61. And we have already completed 58 meanings of Atma Rama words. Now comes to the 59th meaning. The 59th explanation that Mahaprabhu gives is the taking the word cha. Cha in the sense of aggregation, where he's saying Atma Ramas cha munyo. Right? That's the word. Now he's saying if we take different Atma Ramas, saying that Atma Rama this, Atma Rama Nirgranth, Atma Rama Sagarbha Yogi, Atma Rama Nigarbha Yogi, Atma Rama personal like Parshad, Atma Rama this, Atma Rama that. So we can take 58 types of different Atma Ramas. So instead of taking those 58 mentioning, he's saying Atma Rama cha muneo. Means he's saying Atma Rama means many Atma Ramas, right? So all these 58 meanings have been combined, and then he's using the word cha, taking that all these 58 meanings and muneo, right? And all these munis, they perfect their life. So I'll just read that after the word Atma Rama 58 times and taking cha in the sense of aggregation, one may add the word Muneya. That will mean that the great sages, Muneyas cha, they are also different kinds. They all render the different types of bhakti to please the Supreme Lord. So that makes the 59th meaning. Now the 60th meaning that Mahaprabhu gives is that whether one is an Atma Rama or a Muni or a Nirgrantha, they all are engaged in the Lord's name. So here he is taking the word api. which is used as ascertainment. And he's saying, just, we can follow that verse. And he's saying, in that api, he's saying, Urukrama eve, bhaktim eva, ahitukim eva, kuruvanti eva, which is text 305. He says that the word Urukrama, Bhakti, Ahituki and Kuruvanti are added to the word again and again, and that is what the 59th meaning he wants to explain. So, 60th meaning he wants to explain. So what is that 60th meaning? That whether one is an Atmarama or a Munya or a Nirgrantha, an illiterate, right? Whosoever that person is, that person has to follow the devotional service Kuruvanti. Remember the word Kuruvanti, Mahaprabhu explains that one who performs some activities only and only for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord. If that activity is performed for one's own satisfaction, then its word becomes Kuruvate. But if it is done in the satisfaction of somebody else, then it becomes Kuruvanti. So here, Mahaprabhu says somebody else means Lord Shri Krishna. So if somebody performs some activity, and how that activity should be, it should be ahituki, unmotivated, unconditional, right? And what it should be? It should be a bhakti. It should be a process. It should be a service, devotional service. To whom? To Urukrama, to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Urukrama also means Vamanadev, right? So this is the 60th meaning, that whether one is an Atmarama or a Munya or a Nirgrantha, everybody has to perform a devotional service on to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and that devotional service should be ahituki. That means it should be unmotivated and unconditional. That has to be understood. Now moving on to the last 61 words, the meaning. The 61 explanation of the Atmarama verse that Mahaprabhu gives, that I'll tell you. But before that, he tells to Srila Sanatana Goswami that I can tell you the 60 explanations, but this 61 explanation that came up onto my mind is only when I am associating with a personality like you. So he's saying, due to your association only, another meaning has just awakened in me. And it is due to your devotional service that these different meanings, which are just like different waves. So now, what is that 61 meaning that Mahaprabhu is explaining? So the 61 meaning, the 61th explanation that Mahaprabhu gives is that Atma also refers to a living entity who knows about this body. So in chapter 13th of Bhagavad Gita, we have read almost every time that what is Chaitanya. So Chaitanya is a living entity who knows about one's body. Kshetra means body. Chaitanya means one who has knowledge of that body. So that is what Chaitanya is. And that is what Mahaprabhu is referring, that any living entity who knows about his body is known as Chaitanya. So that is the 61th meaning explanation that Mahaprabhu came up with. And he's saying the living entity who knows about his body. Now, living entity right from Brahma on to an insignificant ant. Everybody. If by chance, now this is the key word, that if by chance the transmigrating jiva gets into the association of a pure devotee, he gives up all engagements of an own self and finally engage oneself in Krishna's service. So here's the key point, that Atmarama who is the knower of one's own body, though he is dwelling in this material body for his own sense pleasure, for satisfaction of his own senses, but still, if that Atmarama who is a Shretagna, if by chance he comes into contact of a pure devotee, then he leaves up all his engagements, all his material engagements for what he was fighting for, satisfying his own self, and he gives up everything and engages oneself in the service of Lord Shri Krishna. That is the 61st explanation that Mahaprabhu gives. 310. The words from Chaitanya Charitamrita. Brahmite brahmite yadi sadhu sangha paya. Brahmite brahmite means in this whole Brahmand, if one is simply wandering from here and there, right? Wandering in different forms, in different manners, not like I'm telling, right from Brahma to an insignificant ant, means taking all 8,400,000 species. Brahmite brahmite, yadi sadhu sangha paya, if one comes into the contact of the association of the pure devotee, sabatyagi, he gives up everything. And then, then what happens? Krishnera bhajaya. Then he engages himself unto the service of the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna. Translations that Srila Prabhupada gives it. The living entities are wandering in different species of life on different planets. But if by chance they get the association of a pure devotee, a sadhu, then he gives up all other engagements and engages in the service of Lord Shri Krishna. So this is the 61st explanation that Mahaprabhu gives of this beautiful word Atma Rama. So I think so you can end up now. So we covered till 312. In the 312th verse only, Mahaprabhu is saying that now due to your association, another meaning has awakened, and it is to your devotional service that these waves of meaning are arising. And he is referring to this 61st explanation, that is Atma means Chaitanya, one who is the knower of one's own body, how he can be engaged. So this is what, the 61st explanation of Atma Rama verses are. So the nutshell, what we have understood right now is that Mahaprabhu has given different meanings, right, of Atma and how that person can become an Atma Rama. But the commonality between everything, everybody is coming into contact of a pure devotee, sadhu sangha. If one comes under the association of an advanced devotee, then everybody can become Atma Rama and can follow the process of devotional service. We have seen the examples of Sukadeva Goswami, of 4 Kumaras, of Nav-Yogendras, of different types of yogis, and how of Vyasadeva. So different meanings of Atma, and through that he came up different meaning of Atma Rama. But everybody we see, they all have taken up the process of devotional service only when coming into contact of a pure Bhagavat. Whether we take up Sukadeva Goswami, with how Vyasadeva sent 2 of his disciples, and when he was narrating the episode of Putana, that how magnanimous Lord Shri Krishna is, that a woman who has come to kill, he has given the right authority to that woman and made her the nurse in Golok Vrindavan. Just hearing that pastime, so just by hearing, he became a pure devotee. 4 Kumaras, when they came into the contact with the tulsi leaves, the smell of the tulsi leaves simply changed their heart. Vyasadeva, when Narada Muni came and instructed Vyasadeva, Vyasadeva himself is the literal incarnation of Supreme Personality of Godhead. But still, when he came into the contact of a sadhu, Narada Muni, his heart changed. And what to talk about all these personalities? Mahaprabhu explained extensively of a person who was just a hunter, an illiterate, a poor person. Even he got liberated when he came into the contact of Sadhu Sangha, when he came into the contact of Narada Muni. And we talk about the example of Mrigadri, the hunter, right? And Navayogendras, they were they were also impersonalists, but still, when they came into the contact of a pure devotee. So it's the nutshell, the commonality of all this is that whosoever, and finally, of course, in this Chaitanya meaning, also Mahaprabhu saying that if somehow we come into the contact of a pure devotee, then one's life can be changed and one can become, one can follow the process of devotional service very convincingly, either by following the rules and regulations or by following the Ragatmika Bhakta and perfecting one life and following Raganuga Bhakti. So that's what, is what I have prepared for today. So one slide has already been shared, that is of the 32 meanings, but I have also made another 3-4 slides, that also explains the rest 26. So 26 and 32, 58, and then last 3 that we did. So these are the 61 explanations. If you want, I can share that too on the group, so we can refer to it. I know this is quite philosophical, but to understand the essence is what is important. That what Mahaprabhu wants to explain. So he wants to basically establish the point that we should never ever take granted of Sadhu Sangha. We should always try to associate with the advanced devotees, right? And this is what the Sadhu Sangha is. When we associate with the advanced devotees, we perfect our own life. So here actually, the chapter has yet not ended, but 61 explanations have already been completed. And now in future verses, we'll see that how Srila Sanatana Goswami requests Mahaprabhu to establish the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam. So in few verses, he'll be establishing the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam, which is again such a beautiful topic. And then finally, Mahaprabhu will tell Sanatana Goswami to write a book on a Vaishnava etiquette, the Vaishnava culture. And to that, Sanatana Goswami will request Mahaprabhu that you please give me the guidelines. At least, just give me some points that what all I can describe in my book. And that Mahaprabhu will explain about all those different types of Vaishnava etiquettes that a person should follow. And that's also so beautiful. So in future verses, these 2 subjects matter will be covered. So thank you all so much for all together combining and, enthusiastically inspiring me also for this summary of this beautiful chapter. It's an onward journey and you all participated with me. So I'm very much grateful and indebted to all of you. And because of your enthusiasm, I got to know so much, and I read extensively all these scriptures, all these various books that Srila Prabhupada gave it to us. I'm really indebted to our dear Srila Prabhupada and of course to each and every one of you. So thank you all so much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hari bol. Beautiful final class on this verse, on this chapter of Atma Rama explanation. Thank you so much for taking up this wonderful effort and making us understand a fraction of what Mahaprabhu is trying to say. Thank you for all the effort that you have put in. And yes, please, we need all the charts of all the 61 meanings on the group. It will be helpful for everyone. Thanks for explaining. Towards the end, I really liked and I could relate to when I could really see the emphasis of what you were telling, that in all these cases and all the Atmaramas, again and again, it was only by the mercy of a devotee that they can actually take up to devotional service ultimately. And you gave the examples of several Atmaramas at different stages of devotion, how actually it was a devotee who helped them. And also, I really like the classification of the today's class for 32 meanings that you did. That chat really helped a lot because I was so lost in understanding what exactly those varieties were, and the chart really helped, at least for the first chart that you put on the 32 meanings. That really made sense how the 32 meanings came up. And then the last 61 meaning, the 61st meaning, that also was very nice. The way Mahaprabhu actually gives credit to Sanatana Goswami, saying that it's only because of your inspiration that I am able to get one more meaning. So I was even thinking that is so much like me in terms of just on the bodily concept. I'm just there. And even I have some hope when Mahaprabhu spoke about the last verse. That was very nice. So, thank you, Mataji. And this was a tremendous effort that you have taken. So, very, very grateful to you. Thank you for taking this and doing it as a summary study for all of us. And do share all the notes on the group so that all of us can be benefited from it. Thank you again, Mataji. Hare Krishna. I don't have any questions. That was crystal clear. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Bol.
Thank you so much, Preeti Vilasini Mataji. I really want to acknowledge this also, that it's only because of your push that you have been pushing me and inspiring me and helping me through all this, by sharing Chaitanya Shubodhini with me, which really helped me with coming up all these different classifications. So I'm really indebted to you personally. So thank you so much. It's only because of your, inspiring words that really inspire me to enthusiastically read all these and further try to share with all of you. So thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Kirtida Sundari Mataji. I kind of got cut off right at the end, so maybe Preeti Vilasini spoke about this, but I'm not sure. Thank you so much. Again, wonderful class, and yes, please do share your notes. When you were speaking, I thought I missed when you were speaking about the Parsvad devotees, and you said that how can we follow in their footsteps, and you explained that by being a servant, by following Vidhi, by following the rules and regulations, that's how we become Hari Parshad Dasa. And then for Sakha, you said by showing faith, being Shraddha. And then for the Guru, you said by being the protector of the Lord, by preaching about Him and protecting him in, his name, his fame, in that sense. But I didn't hear the last one you said about the Kanta. What did you?
Beloved damsel. There I said that through Vaidhi Bhakti we land up in Vaikuntha, right? So in Vaikuntha, how can we become a beloved damsel is by serving the Lakshmis. By becoming the associates of the different Lakshmis, they are those who are serving the Supreme Lord.
Okay, got it. Okay, yeah. I have to go. Okay. And then you were explaining, and there was one thing which I don't even know how to I didn't quite understand when you were saying about the cha and the api. So, are you saying is the understanding that because you are saying both together, that's another set.
Yeah.
Another. Yeah. Okay. So separately, exactly. All these things.
Actually, Mahaprabhu gives, and I missed it to explain. Thank you for bringing up the point. So while explaining that cha and api, he's saying like we use the word plural word like vrikshaha, trees, right? So there we mean all the trees. If we say vrikshaha in forest, what we say that all the trees, whether it's a banyan tree, it's a fig tree, it's a mango tree, all the trees are indicated. So similarly, he's saying Atma Ramaha, right? And there he's using the word cha, indicating that Atma Rama's cha munya, means Atma Rama, all the different kinds of Atma Ramas, and of course then munyo, they all engage in the loving service. That's the 58th meaning. And while explaining the 59th meaning, he's saying that not only the Atma Rama, not only that a liberated saint, that Munya, but also a Nirgrantha, any of them, either one is an Atma Rama or a Munya or a Nirgrantha, they all have to engage in the loving service. There he is using the word eva, means only in the loving service, doing service. First of all, doing service. Then what service? Through bhakti, devotional service. To whom? To Urukrama. So he is saying instead of using that eva, like Urukrama eva, bhaktin eva, ahitukin eva, kuruvanti eva, he is not using these words eva every time. Rather, he is using the word api. So he is saying together, all together, he is referring this Nirgrantha, whether one is Nirgrantha, whether one is Atmarama or one is Munu. Everybody, api urukrame kuruvanti ahitukim bhaktin ittambuta gunamari. That means all of them should try to serve. This is the 60th meaning, sorry.
So all those together is one.
All those
besides all the previous ones we've done as each one separately. We've done the Munyos separately, the different types. We've done the Atmaramas separately, and then we've done the Nirgandhi separately. All those separately were the previous, and then now he's saying finally the 60th is all that as a group, as one group together is the 60th.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
Got it.
That's what he wants to say.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Mother. I thank you. It was amazing. I want to say amazing, and yes, and you're amazing for explaining all this to us. And I will go back and listen to. I think listening to all the parts together to get the whole picture one more time to get it in my head. Thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. So I'm not at all amazing. Srila Prabhupada is amazing. Trust me, when I have to prepare this, it's 5-6 kinds of books are open in front of me because I have to refer for so many books. And it's all because of the mercy of Prabhupada and of course our previous Acharya, Srila Rupa Goswami, who extensively described in Nectar of Devotion. This is really one book. It's worth reading, it's awesome. This Nectar of Devotion is really awesome. So, thank you so much.
I think it's also, now that I've listened to this part of the Chaitanya Charitamrtha, it seems going back into the Nectar of Devotion and reading it again, it gives me a little bit more understanding as I'm reading, I'm feeling. So, yeah, I'm hoping.
Seriously. I was simply breaking my head, because I myself was not able to understand what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying, that how can just following a Vaidhi Bhakti, we can become a personal associate in a form of a Dasa, Sakha, or a Guru, because every relationship that we saw is in a Raganuga Bhakti and landing up to Vrindavan. We can give so many examples of becoming a servant in Golok Vrindavan, of becoming a superior in Golok Vrindavan, of becoming friends. But how one can follow this devotional service in the mood of that friendship, in the mood of Dasa? Okay, fine. Through following Ragatmika Bhakta, it's very easy. Right? We can follow Sridham, we can follow Madhu Mangal, follow the footsteps of Madhu Mangal, aspire to become, his servant and ultimately serve Lord Shri Krishna in the mood of friendship. But how? By just doing devotional service, by following this Vidhi Bhakti also, we can get a mood of becoming a friend or becoming a servant or becoming a damsel. I was simply breaking my head. And finally, I closed all my books and I just opened Nectar of Devotion. And there, got so many references that even that Rupa Goswami says that this is how you worship Lord in the mood of friendship. This is how you worship Lord, in the mood of a Dasa or a Sakha or a Vatsalya or a superior. This superior, it was so difficult, because openly it was not described. That how can we become a superior? But then somehow just one line, it came up and it got stuck that this is how we can become even a superior by becoming a well-wisher of the Supreme Lord. So that even I was awestruck after reading Nectar of Devotion.
Yeah.
So
Remember the question
I'm really
I had?
grateful to all of you.
Do you remember that question I had a long time ago when we were discussing? It said we're supposed to do worship to the Lord, but we're not supposed to do it in the like Mother Yasoda. Remember, this answers that question.
Yeah. Yes. So we can just follow the footsteps of Mother Yashoda and be an assistant of her. So thank you, every one of you.
Thank you, Kirtida Sundari Mataji. I have one question. It's not a question, but a request. Do you have all these notes written?
Yes, Mataji, I'll share it. Yeah, I'll share it.
Okay, thank you.
I have till 58 I have. So
Mm.
last 3 I don't have. But yes, rest I can share.
Okay, thank you very much. Very, very wonderful. So, you have taken the task very difficult, but by hearing you, it makes it little understandable. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you. It's all because of your blessings that I was able to take up. I've shared everything on the group, but I'll request all of you to please forgive me for my very bad handwriting. I tried to make it as neat as possible, but this is what the final output is. My handwriting is really bad.
Maybe you can submit a whole paper.
What, Mataji?
You can put the whole, right, you have the notes, but you just make in the whole one, what do you call, article or paper, something like that. Study.
I don't know, Mataji. I've just shared my notes, but I'm not that tech-savvy person. I really don't know how to do it. Just shared my handwriting only.
But you did very good. Very, very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was just thinking I'll just put all these Sunday classes into one playlist on YouTube and then share it. Along with the specific verses that are to be referred to in each of these sessions. I'm yet to do it, but I'll do it and I'll probably send it as a playlist.
You can do it in installments.
Oh yes, sure, I'll do it.
That's the liberty being given to you, dear.
Because I know there are so many, just 8 classes, 8 sessions if you do. So it's a lot of material, so you cannot do it in one time. So you can do it on installments like that.
Yes, Martha.
Yeah, thank you very much, both of you. Wonderful. Nicely explaining everything. Hare Krishna. If anybody has any question, I don't think
Hare
so.
Krishna, Kirtida Sundari Dasi, Koti Dandvat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev Ki Jai. I missed 25 minutes, but I will read, I will hear when I came home. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Hare Bol. So many things in your class we learn, Mataji. Hare Bol, Hare Krishna, Dandvat Pranam. Jai Jai Shri Radhe Shyam.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
All because of your sincerity. Hare Krishna, Vrinda.
Oh, this is Shyama Gauri.
Sorry, Mataji.
Oh, I thought Vrinda. See, your voice is just like Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Shyama Gauri Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Very, very beautiful class, Mataji. Very nice. Nicely.
Thank you so much, Mataji.
You studied so hard.
Yes, she has put so much endeavor. But it's worth it that we can all become benefited by trying to understand. If a little bit I can understand, that's good. Okay, so then we can end the class here, no? Vancha
Sure, Mataji, thank you.
कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। श्री चैतन्य चरितामृत की जय। हर ग्रेस कीर्तिदा सुंदरी माता जी की जय। All the devotees की जय also.
गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री प्रभुपाद की जय।
So Vrinda, I think Vrinda Gopika Mataji was requesting you to sing a little something.
Yes.
No, Mataji. No.
Thank you, Mataji.
No, Vrinda Gopika, you didn't request it, right? So let's end up now.
No. It is in my heart, but I am afraid.
I really don't know. Come on, you please don't embarrass me, by telling all this.
Mataji, we are your naughty girls, Mataji. Very naughty girl.
No, that's fine. You all can request to other speakers, but not to me, because I really don't have that voice of.
You have wonderful.
Show me that voice.
Yeah. It's Mataji, no excuse, please. You have nice voice. Yes,
Mataji. Kamoji ke Mataji said, so you have to follow the instruction, Mataji.
Okay, I'll follow the instruction only on one condition, that if Preeti will ask me, can stop the recording, because class is completed.
Oh no!
Then probably I can sing.
Why would you not want to have net distributed, Mataji?
No, we all can share, right? But what's the use of recording? So Preeti will ask me to end the recording, and then probably I'll sing.
Okay.